Welcome to our channel. It's been really an honor to see you all in one picture. It's been a great
Hello.
honor to be here with you all. So let's talk about the recent election in Jammu and Kashmir, the change in Jammu and Kashmir, sir. Start with Colonel Saab.
Uh, you see, before we proceed further, we have to understand the manner in which these elections have come about.
Okay.
The first, we had the panchayat elections in which the sarpanches were elected, which saw a heavy voter turnout to the tune of about averaging around 60-67%.
Mm-hmm.
Then those elected sarpanches and heads of local bodies, they have now taken part in this what is called the BDC Block Development Council
Hello.
elections. And here we have seen a very active participation and a good result. The significance of this result is that not only in this is one of the steps that is being taken to dismantle the existing structures that were part of the earlier system, and that system was in many ways exploiting the local people and benefiting the few or the three or four families in Jammu and Kashmir.
Mm-hmm.
The earlier system was also biased very heavily against other regions of Jammu and Kashmir other than the valley.
Okay.
So, as a part of the government's recasting of this is getting people involved in their own development.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is the significance of this two-stage exercise that has been carried out. The first stage was the election at local bodies and at the panchayat level, and the second exercise was the Block Development Council elections.
Okay.
So, and hopefully now with the delimitation of constituencies coming around, we would also have the assembly elections in a short while.
Okay. So, so what about you, sir, Ajay, sir? How do you see this election has changed view of Jammu and Kashmir? Does the Pakistani narrative has been struck down with this election and voter turnout in Jammu and Kashmir?
See, this was an exercise in deepening the democracy and making democratic system a multi-tier system, which goes right up to the grassroots.
Okay.
Now, in these two elections, starting from the panchayat elections, the so-called mainstream political parties,
Mm-hmm.
whom they called as half-way separatist parties, they, they boycotted
Yes.
and tried to uh, couple with them, even Congress party also behaves in a halfway separatist manner and try to give the same message.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have to go through this stage in J&K state because in 1996, when after a gap of say, more than 6 years at that time, uh, the elections were conducted. They were conducted on an almost implicit promise that halfway separatist politics will be provided a space. National Conference at that point of time took up a position that they would like to change the status quo, existing status quo of the state, and the state has to move towards a greater autonomy. And only then the widening of democratic process will take place, only then the deepening of the democratic process will take place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, greater autonomy was basically uh, a ploy for further fortifying the Muslim state of Jammu and Kashmir over the years, which was created with the hope that creating such a dispensation will uh, counteract the pro-Pak and Muslim communalist appeal in the state.
Okay. Okay.
Now, this is a problem more or less in all the Muslim countries, where wherever the democratic process has started, they would like it to cater to the needs of basically communal identity needs.
Mm-hmm.
So, in J&K state also, after the elections were started, it was projected that now the democratic process will gradually usher in an era in which we move away from the present status quo and towards a status quo which these so-called mainstream political parties, but basically which were pursuing a separatist agenda from within.
Hmm.
They were hoping that perhaps this whole process will lead towards that. And over the
Okay.
years, we saw that the separatist agenda was not curtailed. The appeal of separatist politics only increased because it received a state patronage, it received a political patronage from inside. And
Hmm.
we reached a stage where finally these mainstream political parties started talking about again. They started talking about boycott.
Okay.
Now, the difference in the present position is that the government of India has not cared about the boycott. It
Yes.
has not kept democratic process subservient to the veto of the parties which wanted to subvert the entire constitutional setup from within, who were
Hmm.
using the democratic space eventually to destroy the chances of democracy widening and deepening in the state.
Yes.
So we are going through a phase where the message is going on, message is percolating down that the democratic process, government of India would certainly nourish, but it will nourish a democratic process which caters to the broader boundaries of the uh, constitution, which guarantees this democratic process. And in
Yes, sir.
this democratic process, secession, sedition, halfway secession, halfway sedition, they will not be having a place.
Okay.
Government of India will not allow subversion of democracy. And I
Yes, sir.
think that is a bigger message which will go through these elections.
Okay, sir.
There will
So.
be a period of time
Mhm.
when this so-called mainstream will try to delegitimize the democratic process by non-participation.
Okay.
But if the government of India holds on, if it holds on to its position and tells them that yes, in J&K state there will be democratic order, it will be also a secular order. There will be no exceptions into it. There will be no covering of secessionist, separatist politics. Even if for a time there will be low turnover because the separatist establishment is far ahead in indoctrination and propaganda machinery in the state.
Yes.
While we cover that, while the people realize that a new era has ushered in, even if there is low voting turnover, we will not mind, but we will not compromise with the essence of the democratic order which we want to ultimately establish in the new union territory of Jammu.
Okay, so thank you for your opening comments. So now my question is to Ajaat Jamwal, sir. You have been in Jammu and Kashmir as an activist for nearly some 20 years on the ground. So how do you see this change, sir? 98% turnout in voting in Jammu and Kashmir. How does it change the situation there? Colonel, sir.
Yeah.
So our Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, has said that he has hailed this historic 98% turnout in Jammu and Kashmir block development council election. So do you think Pakistan's agenda has been struck down completely from their propaganda narrative of their ISPR, Gafur?
You see, we have to look at the broader picture. What we are essentially doing is by going for the local body elections and for the block development council elections,
Yes.
uh, along with the delegated financial powers and direct fund allocation to these bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Development which was not reaching the grassroots will now reach there.
Okay.
Now, that is a reality. Now, as far as Pakistan and ISPR are concerned, we have to understand one thing.
Yes.
Uh, their mission is not Kashmir. Their mission is India.
Yes.
Kashmir is an excuse for them. They will hurt us. They will continue to hurt us, even if by some miracle or some this thing, you know, Kashmir goes to Pakistan. Even then, they will find a new Kashmir issue to hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
For Pakistan, at the moment, Kashmir is a glue that is holding the Pakistani society together.
Yes. The hate against
ISPR
India. Yes.
is covering up through its tentacles. You know, you'll be surprised to know that ISPR runs, I think, two FM stations. I think Bold TV is of ISPR. ISPR funds production of TV serials. They fund production. I mean, recently there was a bit of a controversy about a famous singer doing a dance in a film, and she said that she did that dance because ISPR asked her to do the dance.
Oh my God. That's the
So
reality
why?
of Pakistan, actually.
Yes,
Yes.
why I'm sharing this is that Pakistan information system is today
Yes.
in the Cold War era. Uh,
Yes.
the in the Cold War era, you had this body. Here they have got two bodies. One is PEMRA and one is ISPR. They send out what narrative is to be followed. People who oppose them. We had a classic two cases I can quote offhand. One was Hamid Mir of GOTV who was shot and he had three bullets in his stomach and he is now totally supplicant to ISPR.
Okay,
The
sir.
second
Okay.
was Cyril Almeida of Dawn. His involvement in the famous Dawn leak case. Uh,
Hmm.
they have forced him out, and they have forced him out of the profession. He is now not writing for Dawn. So that is the power that ISPR wields over information dissemination inside Pakistan.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
what DGISPR is an arm of Pakistan deep state. Uh, their effort, they you see, a major part of their effort they succeeded when the ethnic cleansing took place in Kashmir Valley.
Yes.
So that was a major success for them. Since then, they've been trying to radicalize to a certain extent. They have succeeded because there were certain local politicians who collaborated with them. There were some leaders, so-called leaders, I would say, who swung both ways. The fear of dominance, the real fear.
Okay,
Uh,
sir. Okay. We'll come back
so,
to you,
with
sir.
that in mind,
Yeah.
this development being done by the government with all security infrastructure in place,
Yes.
it will it will not have an immediate impact, but over the long term, it will definitely have an impact of negating the propaganda that is coming in from the Pakistani side.
Okay, sir. Now we'll go back to Ajaat Jamwal, sir. Sir, your connection got disconnected before, so please continue, sir. What do you think about this block development council election? And there are 98% of turnout in Jammu and Kashmir.
After this bloc development council elections, it has disturbed the apple cart of the separatists and Pakistani propagandists who are
Okay.
trying to portray a picture of Jammu and Kashmir that it's disturbed and people are not happy with the government of India. But you see that an turnout of 100% in Srinagar district that is most affected by the separatist sentiment and is totally controlled by Pakistani terrorists. There was a 100% turnout in Srinagar district and in Pulwama and Shopian. Those are two districts which are flush with terrorists and they are killing people like anything. During
Hmm.
past 2 days, they have killed two truck drivers. One is missing, and last week they killed two truck drivers and a trader from Punjab. But
Yes.
there was 85% turnout in Shopia and around 95% turnout in Pulwama. So
Yes.
this BDC elections, though participants were only panchayat members and sarpanches, but
Okay.
still they have come out in large numbers to defeat the Pakistani propaganda that Kashmiris don't want peace, they don't want development. Actually, we feel that Kashmiris they want participation in development.
Yes.
During last 70 years, these two dynasties, Muftis and Abdullahs, they have looted Jammu and Kashmir like anything. And they were the major proponents of this terrorist activity in Jammu and Kashmir. You
Hmm.
see, there have been no stone pelting incidents till the time these Mehbooba Mufti and Abdullah family, they have been arrested.
Okay.
These are more sinister elements in Kashmir Valley than Gilani or Yasin Malik.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
They are
Uh,
they are
okay.
overgrown workers of Pakistan. They are frontline flanks of Pakistan who have been using Indian money to foment trouble in Kashmir.
Okay.
And this we see this BDC elections in Jammu and Kashmir. It is a very apt reply to the Pakistani propaganda and separatist propaganda.
Yes. Okay, sir. Now my question goes to Ajay, sir. During this election, we have the result also. Like independent candidate of around 217 has been elected, and 81 BJP members has been elected. Do you think BJP has taken a political ground in Jammu and Kashmir, sir? Ajay, sir.
BJP has a strong presence in Jammu.
Yeah.
BJP as yet is not very strong in the valley,
Okay.
and the boycott of the major political formations there
Mhm.
has created a space which might have given them the space in the valley politics. Now it's up to them to utilize the space, capitalize on the space, and widen their political base in the valley. In Jammu, they are
Yes.
already very strong.
Hmm.
So that thing is not as important as it is, as that thing is not as critically important as the message that the separatist blackmail will not be accepted. The subversive blackmail from inside will not be accepted. That democratic processes will not be allowed to be scuttled or promoted to ultimately promote the separatist cause. Uh, the democratic setup in J&K state functions within the constitutional framework of India.
Yes.
It has to usher in a democracy. It has to usher in pluralism, conforming to the nation building vision, conforming to the necessities of constitution. And
Yes.
for that, if even if there is low voting turnover, that is
Hmm.
not as much a matter as conducting the democratic process. If
Okay, sir.
this message goes across in the valley to the different strata of the political establishment there or a political system there, then we'll be seeing wider, meaningful participation in the
Okay.
coming months, which will even ignore the separatist dictates, ignore the jihadi dictates,
Hmm.
and beat the democracy.
Okay, sir.
So BJP's widening the space may be uh, either accidental or an implication of National Conference, PDP, and Congress virtually boycotting these elections.
Yes.
But this opportunity needs to be grabbed now, and they
Okay, sir.
have to use the space at the panchayat level and now at the block level to really send a message across that they can provide better governance, they can provide better options for the people.
Okay. So, what do you think about it, Rakesh, sir? So, do you think BJP has gained a ground in Jammu and Kashmir politically?
You see, politically, space has been created, or rather, a void has been created where the traditional parties who have been surviving on 8% and 12% vote, they have been, their bluff has been called. And this step by step process of getting the grassroots democracy going up, throwing up new leaders, new grassroots level workers, it is a very good thing. It is happening. It's not only for Congress. I would for BJP, even other parties, they would do rather than boycott, they would do well to participate, because otherwise, they were dominating the political space with just 8% or 12% voting. Now, with delimitation taking place, the population ratio basis, we will now come to know the actual how much ground swell of support they have. Uh,
Yes.
you see, having a gun or having a proxy, holding a gun, motivating people to vote in your favor, and a genuine voter movement at grassroots level, that is very important.
Okay.
Whether that grassroots level vote goes to the BJP or to anybody else or to independents, like BJP candidates have lost in the BDC elections. But the important thing is that the process took place and people participated. Now,
Okay.
with direct funding to the BDC and to the panchayats, people will see the benefit of development at grassroots level.
Okay.
And that is where, like with innovative measures like geotagging of projects, geotagging of expenditure, these things can be monitored. The benefits, it will be ensured that benefits reach there, which otherwise earlier on used to get lost in the corridors of corruption, if I may call
Yes,
it.
sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that is a message. But a bigger message that is going out to the world is today we are having a proper democratic process going on in Jammu and Kashmir, whereas in
Yes.
Pak occupied Jammu and Kashmir in last 2 days, 14 people have been killed, more than
Yes.
60 people have been injured, and that place is in a lockdown.
Yes, sir.
You see,
Very well
we are
said, sir.
now
Yeah.
getting the
Very
videos
true.
are being smuggled out. We are getting to
Yes.
know the true picture. The press
Yes.
club of Muzaffarabad was vandalized by the Pakistani security establishment. If all is good there, then why is this happening?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that
Yeah.
contrast will stand out, and of course the genuineness of the Indian government's desire to improve things in JNK will stand out.
Okay, sir. Now my question is to Ajaat Jamwal, sir. So, do you think, sir, in future, BJP can become a majority political party in Jammu and Kashmir?
Actually, as we see, BJP has taken a tough beating in recent BDC elections. They have got just 81 seats out of 316 seats for which
Yes.
elections were held. And it is not that people voted for Modi, it is that people voted for the local BJP leaders who are
Yes.
totally incompetent, corrupt, and not conversant with the problems of the people of on ground. They are
Okay.
not nobody here in Jammu and Kashmir. Either it was 25 MLAs last time, or the present MPs. Nobody is bothered about the problems of Jammu, and people they have tried to teach them a lesson that
Okay.
you won't be getting votes in the name of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. If you
Okay.
want to have votes from the people of Jammu, you have to work for the people.
Yes.
And if you see that in Hindu majority areas where BJP holds the most powerful structure in the state, they
Mm-hmm.
have lost to the independents. In Jammu, out of 20 seats, 11 went to independents. In Kashmir,
Mm-hmm.
they just in Kishtwar district where they had 4 MLAs, they had got only uh, they got independents got 10 seats out of 19, and in uh, Leh, independents got 9 out of 16, and you see this is very bad performance of JNK BJP. People are not trusting them. They are totally incompetent, corrupt, and they are not talking about the problems of people of Jammu.
Okay.
If you
Okay,
see
sir.
recently there was a toll plaza in
Mm-hmm.
Saror area of Sambal district,
Mm-hmm.
and BJP's local BJP, it's not talking about the problems of the people of Jammu. People in Jammu, they see that 370 has gone, but the situation has not changed for the people of Jammu. They are being
Okay.
ignored. They are feeling discriminated under the present regime also.
Okay, sir. I'll come
During
back to you,
last
sir. Yes, sir.
3 months,
Yeah.
governor never visited Jammu.
Okay.
And this BJP performance is at the time when neither National Conference, neither PDP, neither Congress participated in the elections.
Now let's talk about Indian Army's chief's latest comment on Pakistan occupied Kashmir area. So he has
Yeah.
said that Pakistan occupied Kashmir is a territory now under control of the terrorists. So how do you see this latest statement from Indian Army chief, sir? Colonel, sir. Yeah.
The chief is only stating facts. You see, actually, the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, is under the control of the what was told in the UN General Assembly by our representative that terroristan. The Pakistan army themselves are terrorists. There are so many now. The videos are being smuggled out. You just had that Sahiwal massacre that took place, and the judgment there has they have been killed. People have been killed in cold blood, and despite all audio video evidence, the court has acquitted all the accused.
Mhm.
There is a massive amount of crackdown going on in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Peshawar to prevent Maulana Fazlur Rahman's march. So
Yes.
Pakistan army itself is a terrorist army. If you remove the terror infrastructure, or if you remove the terror arm of Pakistan army, then their army becomes a defunct army. That is the only weapon that they're using against both India. They're using terrorists as a weapon against India, against Afghanistan, and against Iran.
Yes.
So the army chief is not way off the mark. It is under the occupation of terror army.
Okay, sir. Sir, now my question is to Ajay Saab. Sir, do you think is it possible for Indian Army to get back our territory from Pakistan occupied area?
Why not? It is a stated national objective. The parliament has passed resolutions
Okay.
very clearly saying that the only issue with Pakistan is that the Pak occupied Jammu and Kashmir has to be brought back within the Indian Union. So the national resolve has to be backed by the executive resolve, and then the military will ultimately decide how to do it. What's important about the issue which you have laid down, that Pak occupied Kashmir is basically a springboard of terrorism into India.
Mm.
And the type of dispensation which we had within the valley for quite some time, all through these years, through running Jammu Kashmir to halfway separatism, it was a
Yes.
springboard of subversion into rest of India. So what the army chief has stated, he has stated a position which government of India should have stated long back. And it's a springboard. It's a springboard of terrorism. It's a springboard of, in fact, jihad. And we are still far away from recognizing officially that there is a war form going on in J&K state, which is a jihadi war form. It
Yes.
has its own dimensions. It has a military dimension. Then it has a paramilitary dimension. And in the paramilitary dimension, the civil society is being sucked up into it.
Yes.
Because in this war, there is no concept of a civil society. There is concept of a mujahid or a soldier of this jihad and a
Okay.
paramilitary society who are potential soldiers.
Okay.
And in fact, government of India should not treat the situation as mere terrorism coming from Pakistan.
Okay,
It
sir.
should treat the situation as a war form being introduced on this side, which has
Okay.
very wider ramifications.
Okay, sir. So now my question is to Ajaat Jamwal, sir. Do you agree with our Indian Army chief comments on comments that Pakistan occupied Kashmir territory is now occupied by terrorists, not the army?
Actually, if you see that during the recent times, during this NDA rule, the whole narrative on Jammu and Kashmir has changed. Now,
Yeah.
government of India doesn't talk about the Kashmir issue in the context of Jammu and Kashmir under Indian administration. They talk about the Kashmir issue, that is POJK, Jammu and Kashmir. And it's a fact that it has turned into a territory which is under control of terrorist regimes working
Jihadis
in
elements and
Pakistan.
radicals. Yes.
Yeah, totally under control. And if you see that during 2005, when there was an earthquake in Muzaffarabad, the whole operations were taken over by the Lashkar-e-Toiba and Hizbul Mujahideen and Al-Qaeda for relief and recruiting the new recruits for the jihadi organizations. It's a fact that POJK it has turned to be a territory under the occupation of terrorists, and it is becoming a launching pad for international jihad. It's not only jihad against India, but it's a place where there is recruitment and training for the international jihad, and
Okay.
whole world has to take note of it. And we believe that it will be in the interest of even China if they support the efforts of government of India to take back POJK, because they are investing a lot of money in POJK, which will go ultimately go waste. And Gilgit Baltistan, it's basically part of India, so it
Yes.
has to come back to India. And what we see in the statement of Indian chief, it is basically the resolve of the government of India to take back part of Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, sir. So now my question is to Colonel, sir. Sir, do you think, sir, we are heading towards a war, sir? His war is coming between India and Pakistan. It's very close now.
I had earlier on also tried to answer this. You see, you can never predict how or what will trigger an open conflict.
Okay.
We are already in a state of war with Pakistan at the asymmetric level.
Yes.
Their armed forces are trying to damage our armed forces within. Earlier it was pan India, but now they have restricted themselves to state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Mhm.
Now, as far as open conflict across the IB sector and across entire this thing, I would say not at the moment. But then, seeing how the world is evolving, seeing how things are happening around the world, uh, this situation we don't know what kind of situation, because you see, we have to understand what is the internal situation of Pakistan today. And whenever the ruling establishment of Pakistan has felt insecure domestically, they have already always tried aggression against India to, gain a semblance of unity within the country.
Okay.
Nawaz Sharif is critically ill. Imran Khan is under a lot of pressure on that front.
Yes.
Maulana Fazlur Rahman is bringing in his long march uh,
That is
on
on 27. That is tomorrow.
28th. Is starting tomorrow, and 28th he is reaching Rawalpindi.
Yeah.
The district administration of Rawalpindi has gone crazy, they're impounding containers on the road.
Okay.
The Baluchis are striking out. Pashtuns are now not willing to come and be part of their jihad narrative.
Yes.
There is a tremendous pushback against Punjabi dominance within the Pakistan society.
Mhm.
The another trigger point that has happened yesterday is that the Supreme Court has stayed the order of Peshawar High Court, which held the certain portions of the National Action Plan illegal in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province.
Yes.
That is also becoming a flashpoint. They're calling it a black law.
Okay, sir. So what is stopping us from entering POK, sir, and get back our
No,
territory?
you see, it is not a video game that you press a button and go into it.
Yeah.
There are multiple dimensions to it. And the
Okay.
biggest dimension is that moment you even think about economic of the open conflict, there will be economic cost to it. A,
Mhm.
a 7 day or a 10-day war will set India back by almost 10 years, because
Yes.
all national resources will have to be diverted towards fighting a war.
Yes.
And that will be very difficult to sustain.
Mhm.
So, our better option is to keep applying, like we have today applied economic pressure on Pakistan like never before. We keep applying pressure and hope that that economic pressure will bring about a disintegration of Pakistan. And,
Okay.
and when such an eventuality happens, then we can grab with the least cost, we can grab the Pak occupied Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, sir. Now my question is to Ajay sir. Sir, how do you see Pakistan's economy is doing right now, sir? It is going to be a destruction for Pakistan.
Post Balakot, uh, we realized that the game for the Pakistan has now changed. They
Yeah.
perhaps must going back to the drawing table and reassessing their entire um, structure of thinking with regard to India.
Mhm.
And post Balakot, the things have changed. And post uh, neutering of Article 370 and reorganizing the state into two union territories, the internal dynamics of politics has also changed in the country.
Yes.
Now it's going to exert tremendous pressures on the Muslim polity in Pakistan, on the army, which claims to be the protector of the ideological frontiers, not only the territorial frontiers of Pakistan, and gradually reaching a stage where, at the local level, the pressures on the Pakistan and the capability of the Pakistani army to
Mhm.
protect its ideological frontiers will
Yes.
only arise, and they will be wary of it that their credibility within the mainstream political establishment, which they have tried to control through force as well as denigrating them in the public eye, that process, uh, the public accountability itself will bring into question the very credibility of the Pakistani army.
Okay.
In Kashmir Valley, the separatist class, as is our information, they recognize the reorganization of the state and
Hmm.
and neutering of Article 370 as an act of war. And if our little information is correct, they have asked Pakistani army to act now, act to
Okay.
the war being imposed by the state of India. This is how they interpret it. So
Okay.
in this situation, it will be right that we have to have an understanding about the um, economic condition of Pakistan. We have to have an understanding about our economic capability of ultimately, in case a war is imposed on us,
Hmm.
our capability of responding to it. But
Okay.
one thing is there, this gradually on the Pakistan side has entered into a very, very critical, irrational phase
Hmm.
where the very survival and the credibility of Pakistani army and their jihadi establishment is at stake.
Okay.
So, from their side, gradually, economic dimensions may play a secondary role, and the
Yes.
ideological compulsion will play a primary role. That thing has to
Okay.
be kept in mind. And perhaps in the coming days, as the credibility of Pakistani army further erodes within the public of the people of Pakistan, the
Yes.
chances for them will be limited, and they may try to escalate the
Another. Yeah.
situation to a war level.
Yes.
They might try to pump in infiltrators in very, very large numbers to
Yes.
foment an internal insurgency type situation. So that type of period we are approaching. So
Yes.
I think and the worst option for us we have to prepare, and the worst option is that we should not look at what are Pakistan's economic compulsions of continuing this war or not. We should look at what are Pakistan's ideological compulsions of sustaining and escalating this war.
Okay. Now my question is for Ajay Jamwal sir. Sir, you have been in political analysis and a journalism for nearly some 20 years, more than 20 years in Jammu and Kashmir. So, how do you see Imran Khan's future, sir? Is it eroding? His popularity is eroding now. He is known as a puppet prime minister of Pakistan. So, how do you think about his political career in future? Imran Khan's political career.
Actually, whosoever comes in power in Pakistan, he has to be ready to be jailed or hanged or killed. Because you see the history of Pakistan, it's replete with the violent killings of the rulers of the country. So, when Imran Khan thought that he would be Prime Minister of Pakistan, he had chosen his fate that either he will be jailed, either he will be hanged, or he will be killed by Pakistani army.
Okay.
So his fate is sealed, and it's just matter of time when he will be deposed from his position.
Hmm.
And I would like to add one more thing to what Colonel Sharma has said,
Sure, sir.
that Pakistan has waged 4 wars against India, and then they never thought that their economy will go back 10 years or their country will be disintegrated. They have been waging a war against India for last 70 years, and India has been on defense.
Yes.
So we feel that during the last 5 6 years, Indian state has changed its policy against India. They are not waiting for attacks to happen and then retaliate. They are going across border, and not only in POJK, they have attacked in Balakot, that's in the heart of Pakistan.
Yeah.
And message is very clear that we will not be waiting for an offense from Pakistan to defend our country.
Okay.
And we feel that it's time that we take back UJK and Gilgit Pakistan. They are
Okay.
strategically very important to defense of India. And if
Okay.
our country has to survive as a nation, we have to take back POJK. We have to disintegrate Pakistan into four. Blochis, they have to be freed, and Sindh, even you can see Lahore, it has to be contained. Punjabi domination, they have wreaked havoc not only in India but in Pakistan also. So
Okay,
they
sir.
have to
Yeah.
be contained, and this disease, the Punjabi disease, it has to be contained. And
Okay.
it should not be allowed to contaminate the whole of the continent.
Okay,
So
sir.
We have to be on offensive, not on defensive.
Okay, sir.
Save our
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now my question is for Colonel Rakesh Sharma, sir. War has its impact on economy. It is true, but do you think we should go ahead and go for our Pakistan occupied territory, Jammu and Kashmir, sir?
Again, as I said, it is a situational thing. When, as in how situation unfolds, when the time is right, I'm 100% certain that our the political and the military leadership who are in sync will take the right decision. If a decision is made to grab hold of Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, we can do it. It's not, the capability is there, but there are other factors that come into play, and it will be a decision that will be taken in the overall picture. Because like Ajay ji had pointed out, that our hitting Pakistan at Balakot was a signal that now the entire territory of Pakistan is a fair game if you mess with us. And that message has gone down very correctly, because for a period of time they were in a decision paralysis. They didn't know how to react. So, but we cannot never underestimate our enemy. Pakistan has now gone, they have gone back. They have revised their strategy. They are now firmly aligning with China. China is coming in as a big factor in the whole game, because the importance of Gilgit Baltistan and Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir is that it provides connectivity from Gwadar to eastern China, to western China.
Yeah.
And Pakistan, China has invested a lot in that, so much so that they're even starving Port Qasim and Karachi of tonnages, so that the Gwadar port becomes economically viable. With Pakistan Fauji Foundation being in cahoots with China, so that is a major factor. But coming back to the issue of open conflict with Pakistan, well, if the situation so develops and an opportunity presents itself, I don't think India will hold back.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. So thanks a lot, sir. Happy Diwali to everyone.
Thank you. Happy Diwali. Jai Hind.
Happy Diwali to you also.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.